Hey guys, this is Letters to Ewan 84. This one's called Last Night slash Parents of Love. Dear Ewan, last night I had an integration panic. I thought of my parents. I've been writing and talking about so many people and have felt pretty free doing it. They can all tell me how they would like to be referred to, and it's my story, so I get to tell it. But then I thought of my mom and dad. I feel care. I know that my friends would still think of them generously, but if others read these letters, then I'm opening them up to the eyes of the larger world. I've spent so long practicing the story of my family's pain that I think I'm way behind on learning to tell the story of my family's love. They're different. I was in a workshop with the conscious language guy Bob, and everything was about ancestral pain. I got dizzy for a sec, and my eyes imagined back through time to the island of Guam. I'm sure there was violence there. I'm sure there was pain. But my mind screamed, "Look!" My imagination showed me smiles. "Oh," I exclaimed in the workshop. "They loved too. We're in their lineages of love as well." Bob wasn't super open to outbursts, but when he heard me, he kind of ruffled his feathers and then nodded and looked energized. I've always thought of my father as an artist who was never handed a paintbrush. He's so disciplined. His father was absent, so family was really important to him. He would work overtime every chance he got. He would work on our house. My parents bought a summer house on a lake, and he built decks and bulkheads and painted things. He built a lot of it himself. He would take me in the backyard and pitch me balls, and I was a great hitter. He would play catch with me every chance he could. Every year, he would buy me whatever sports equipment I needed. I was about the same size I am now in seventh grade, and he thought I was going to be a professional something. He came to every game, and when I was in a band during college, he would drive 90 minutes and come to most of our shows. At the end of every show, he would stay and help us pack up and tell us good job. He loved me the whole way. Whenever my life feels out of balance now, I imagine what my dad would tell me to do: clean, organize, eat, exercise. I had a dream once where I was standing on top of my dad's house, looking out at the lake he lives on. I run forward and fly. I keep a little saying in my head: when I leap from my father's house, I can fly. My mother is a fountain of love. She had a rough childhood, rougher than many, and is a saint. She was known as a person that never judged people for being poor or different. I was working at a truck rental store, and the maintenance crew in the back was all African American. My mom came to visit me, and one guy came up to me the next day with a big smile. "Your mom's like a black lady." I took that as the highest of compliments. She was always laughing and cracking jokes. She taught me to play with people every chance I got because the chances are limited. She was always generous and shared what she had with everyone. She really is like a saint. She was a nun for a little while. She wanted to be a teacher, and since she went to Catholic school, she thought she had to be a nun. They kicked her out for smoking and drinking. She told me she would sneak into other nuns' rooms and jump out of their closets. She said one time her and another nun were walking and they decided to pray to find cigarettes. Sure enough, they found a full pack laying on the ground. She believed she could pray people's warts away, and ladies would come to her with warts, and she would put her hands on them and say, "You don't need this anymore," while looking them in the eyes. The warts are all purported to have vanished. I'm laughing. She makes the best quick comfort food. She has fed me more bacon grilled cheese sandwiches than anyone has a right to eat. She would always tell me that I'm beautiful and loved. Once, when I was working at the Boys and Girls Club she visited, there was a little girl there who was adorable and sometimes obnoxious. She was what I would have called needy back then. My mother gravitated toward her immediately. Afterwards, when we talked, she said, "Some people need more love." Both of my parents would hug me a lot. They hugged me every chance they got. On their way out the door or coming home from work. "Where's my hug? I need my hug." My mother's foster parents were my real grandparents. Once she told me that when she was a kid, they weren't very huggy. I was surprised. "Grandpa and Grandma hug me all the time." She replied, "You and your sister taught them that." My biological mother, who was very troubled, was also very loving. She used to hug me and tell me how much she loved me, and we taught that to you, and you taught it to your grandparents. Lineages of love. They were both fighters. At 10 years old, I saw my mother adopt a karate stance once when these teenagers were being mean to me, like she had her palms up and fingers held together like karate oars. My father has always kept a rock, crowbar, or gun in his vehicle. He never hit me. He's almost 80 and he can do 20 pull ups. They were both people who knew temperance and celebration. They used to tell me they quit smoking because they couldn't afford to both smoke and drink beer. Beer won. They never got sloppy in front of me. We were blue collar and I didn't pay a cent for college. They're seldom in the same room, but when they are, looking at me, it's as if heaven and earth are holding hands in my heart. Stories of love. I've mastered pain in the way where I'm no longer afraid of learning about it. It's time for a new practice. From a cafe in Vienna with tears in my eyes, Mike.